Hey guys, NGW450 here, and I'm here to talk to you about something that is pretty awesome. Sort of. So, first, I want to reference the video I made about 4 days ago regarding what I said, who I said was Jake Paul. It was actually Logan Paul, but I've now known and aware that Logan Paul has been banned off of YouTube, which is a pretty great thing in my opinion. Hold off from that. So, what I want to talk to you guys about today is Star Wars. Does that sound great? Does it sound cool? I hope it does, because it sounds cool to me, and I love Star Wars. I'm a big fan of Star Wars. Somewhere around here, there's Star Wars meeting. I'm not sure where I put it, but it's somewhere around here. But anyways, I want to talk to you guys about Star Wars and about the latest movie. The latest addition to the Star Wars canon. That would be Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Now, what seems to be going on right now is a pretty big divide in the Star Wars community about whether or not it was a good film. I think it was. I think it was a fantastic film, and in a lot of different ways. There were flaws with it. It was not perfect. I don't want to say that I thought it was a perfect movie because I know it wasn't perfect. There's some areas regarding it that I did not think were perfect. So let's talk about some major questions that came with the film. Right now, there's a major question of the film that is regarding how did Rey actually beat Luke? Rey did not beat Luke in their little fight. What happened is Luke disarmed her, so therefore technically he won, and she used the Force to grab the lightsaber that was once his and his father's before. And it scared Luke. Made it so that it was a terrifying prospect for him to be able to fight against the lightsaber with a stick, a metal stick. It wouldn't do anything. He could die. So that's how she was won against Luke. When in actuality, she did not win. Another thing I want to talk about is the question of why didn't Holdo tell Poe her plan. I think the main reason, there's the theory going around that Holdo wanted to teach Poe a life lesson, but I think that the prospect of that being it is, I don't think that's right. I think why Holdo didn't tell Poe her plan is for a couple reasons. One, his rank was too low. He was only a captain. If he was still a commander, she probably would have told him. But he was just a captain. He wasn't anything higher. He wasn't part of the high command. He was just a captain in the resistance. So that's why that's the military reason why he wasn't a high enough rank. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong. That's what I think it is. I could be totally off if that's not how that works. Another reason is that he just wasn't needed. Not for that plan. He wasn't needed to execute that plan or to help with that plan. Holdo knew what she was doing. I think Holdo knew exactly what she was doing. I don't think she was making a mistake. He made mistakes. That is very true. Poe made several mistakes that almost killed the Resistance on more than one occasion. Two occasions in this film. He made mistakes that would have gotten any other commander fired instantly. But Leia liked Poe, so he just got demoted. So, what we need to talk about next is the main thing of the film, the main thing it wanted to talk about regarding the Force, and is my favorite aspect of this film, is what it wanted to talk about with the Force, and that is the concept of balance. It wanted to talk completely about balance between the light and the dark, between death and life. It just wants a balance, a cycle. And it's just that never-ending cycle, that never-ending balance that continues to occur within the films. And it's just one of those awesome aspects about the Force that was never really explored in the films and was stuck primarily to the TV shows. So, what it was talking about, and Rebels kind of introduced this concept in Star Wars Rebels. Introduced this concept. It was a cool concept about the Force. There's the light side and the dark side. I can't remember their names off the top of my head, but the aspect of the Force that I remember is the balance, or the Bendu. B-N-D-U. Bendu. And that is a balance. There is no which side takes over the other, because it cannot be that way. That's not a balance. That's a one-weighted scale. Here's the light side, here's the dark side. Dark side's winning, light side's up here, it's on balance. And then vice versa. During the Clone Wars, the light side was here, the dark side was here, and then the dark side tipped the scales, brought the light side back up, and it's just like that cycle. And that's how it goes. And they wanted to emphasize that on Oct 2, the planet Luke was on, by talking about that balance. There's this violence, but yet there's peace. There's life, but there's death. And that's one of the main things, is this cycle that it talks about. There's life, and then there's death, but new life. Which that life will die and bring death again, which will bring more life. And it's just that cycle, that balance. It stays. I'm not saying that I necessarily believe in that sort of thing, or any of that. It's just that something I like analyzing the Force. I like knowing about the Force and concept of the Force. But it's just what the entire film talks about, and what Snoke talks about. The dark side rises and the light to meet it, so that they're on equal terms, they're balanced. But at the same time, the entire film focuses a lot on the concept of yin and yang, with Rey being primarily at the light side, but still having that draw to the dark side, and Rey being primarily at the dark side, being drawn to the light. It's just that balance. They're in this constant struggle, this constant cycle of balance, and just trying to figure out what they want to do, what they want to be a part of. And it's just this concept that's never, it's like partially there, it's partially discovered, or partially explored, but never fully thought out or discovered like this film did. In the entire prequel trilogy, we see the signs of it. We see the Jedi having these dogmatic views, being the pure light-sidist, and being this pure, like almost natural side of the Force. So the true natural side of the Force would be the living Force, but it's a whole entirely different thing. And we see the Jedi, although good, and the good guys, have these dogmatic views that restrict them, and still having that pull, and still using unnatural means to accomplish their goals, and still using their power to help. They're using their power to help, of course, but still using an unnatural side of the Force, just slightly there, but at the same time, it's like, it's not, it's there, but it's not dominant. However, with the Sith, the dark side, you see pure, unnatural death, decay, and we see this side of the Force that's just purely built on power, but yet they still gain wisdom from it. They don't gain pure, it's not purely, it's not pure, it's not purely for power. It can be used for wisdom, and that's kind of the awesome thing about it. But when we have this balance between the light side and the dark side, you have a wisdom of both. You have the power of the dark side, but the wisdom and the goodness of the light. You can accomplish so much with that balance. And that's kind of what the film wanted to explore, and that's what it did explore, is that he did have this balance. Rey and Kylo, they are balanced. They're equal. One cannot top the other in terms of pure Force abilities. It's pure strength of the Force. Because they both have the same strength. That's what the Force wanted. That was the will of the Force in this film. And it's just kind of awesome to just kind of watch this and see how it unfolds. And kind of see how Episode 9 unfolds. What Abrams is going to do with it. And just kind of see what is going to go down between Rey and Kylo for their final standoff. But in the end, it's about the balance. It's about the yin and the yang. There's always good, but has a little evil. And always evil, but has a little good. That's just my thoughts on The Last Jedi. Like I said, I love Star Wars. I'm a big nerd when it comes to Star Wars. I like playing games that are Star Wars. I have a Star Wars beanie. I have a Star Wars tie. I just love Star Wars. I love analyzing Star Wars. I listen to Stupendous Wave, Elkhart's Ladder, some of Star Wars HQ. They're all great channels. I would recommend them. But that's just my thoughts of the film. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't. You don't have to. I'm not asking you. I'm not saying that you have to. I'm asking if you want to. That's absolutely great, fantastic. But I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.